Hello, you may have seen my Secret Santa game that I just put out, and you might also be wondering how it's made. So I'm going to tell you. So without further ado, let's get started. Hello and welcome to this basic tutorial. Step 1, add two sprites. One will be called Sleigh, and the other will be called Direct. Next, you're going to draw a small sleigh, and doesn't need to look perfect for this part. You can change it later. So now we're going to go to on start, forever, point towards direct. Then we're going to set Y to, because we want it to kind of glide when it moves towards the sleigh, towards the direct. So yeah, change Y by Y position of direct minus Y position times 0.3. That way it kind of glides. You might use this for like an intro or something, but it can also use smooth movements because this is a sleigh and we want to move smoothly. And forever set X because the X position shouldn't change, so we're going to set X to negative 150. And then on start, forever. If, or actually, this should be an if else. Then create a variable or rename one to velocity and change velocity by 1, or actually, and change velocity by negative 1, but the top one should actually be something a little bigger, like 2.4. And then we want to set a maximum, so we're going to make sure that it never gets too high or too low, and then so also minimum velocity, because we don't want to like go up at like 100 on the Y position for every time that the script runs. So now then we also obviously want to make the sleigh move, so we need to make that happen using both change Y, and now it moves pretty smoothly, as you can see. Now we also want to make it mobile friendly because a lot of people play on mobile, like on iPads or something, so it's helpful to add that feature. Now we're also going to add a chimney sprite because we need some obstacles coming at you. Just like the slate doesn't need to be perfect at first. Now then, let me just move it down for now. So because we want multiple of them, we're going to need to use clones. So on start, when I start as clone, then set size to 80 to 100. And then we also want to set how tall it is because not all chimneys look exactly the same. So now then we're going to create an if statement because it's either going to be on top or on bottom. We don't want people to just fly at the top the entire time. So pick random 1 to 2 for either top or bottom. And if it's the first one, that's going to be on bottom. If 1 is the pick random 1 to 2. And now this is where we set the Y position. Pick random negative 200 to negative 100. And as you saw, I had to set that block back to center because we want it to either be on top or on bottom. We don't want it to automatically be on bottom. So then set X to 999. I know that it doesn't actually exist for this, but it just makes it go as far to the right as it can. And then, of course, show and repeat until Y position is pretty much right next to the edge. We want to change the X position so that it moves to the left. So how about negative 20 for now? And then afterwards, we want to delete the clone. Now, immediately when this starts, we want to automatically, every 1 second, create a clone, and we also don't want the automatic thing to show. So as you can see now, it creates clones either on top or the bottom. But you'll notice that they're all collecting at the left of the screen. The reason is the clones don't quite make it any farther than what this previously was. So now we can make it a little bit bigger so that it can reach the edge. But you'll notice that we don't yet die, and we'll get to that when you hit the chimneys. So we're going to do if touching slay, then broadcast dead. And when I receive dead, delete this clone, but first stop other scripts in the sprite. And then also, when I receive dead, hide and stop other scripts in the sprite. And then we're going to make a new one, which is going to be the def screen. And we're going to make a new variable called score. And on start, set score to 0, and change score by 1, or not 1, by, based on the height, we want, like, the height of the chimney to determine how many points you get, because, you know, the taller, like, the more difficult it is to pass. So ABS stands for absolute value, so that means, like, if it's negative, it becomes a positive. So, like, negative 4 means positive 4. And mod means that it finds the remainder of a number, so by using the mod 1, we won't have any decimals. So on start hide, but when I receive dead show, and show the variable score, but on start hide the variable score. Now then let's bring the score right there, and then also let's add a little "you died" message. Make it a little bigger and thicker. And center it. Now then let's play it really quick. Now then, it goes a little too fast, so let's just slow it down so it creates clones a little bit longer, and they go a little bit slower. And also, we need to make it so that the slay shows on start. So go to the slay, and then add a little show block on start. Now here. And then also you'll notice that, like, immediately we're dropping to the bottom. That's because we need to set the velocity to 0. So it isn't like negative 20 when we start. There.